This conference will now be recorded.
All right, I'm going to call the November 12th New Richland City Council meeting to order. All is present. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Anybody have anything they want
I
to
just have one addition, 7 under resolutions, 24-24, and 6, I forgot to pass the resolution for the election results.
Resolution what?
24-24 adopting the election results. That should be it.
Move to approve the agenda with the item to attach.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, public comment. Do we have anybody that would like to speak? Larry?
For those who are new to the council, my name is Larry Muff. I'm a resident of New Richland since 1989. I live on South Broadway. I also serve on the Saltwater Conservation District Board, which I started in 2018. And that time I was included in this process of this flood control issue, which was started in 2019 when the county initiated a grant to Houston Engineering to start the process. I've no longer been involved in it because of my criticism and failures of the process. I have 2 comments I want to make about the last council meeting I was here when Houston Engineering gave a brief update to the city council on the process. I was there at the Waseca County Commissioners meeting in 2021 when Houston Engineering adopted the flood study in New Richland, which was authorized in 2019. After the engineer repeated that the study was designed for a 100-year flood, I asked him what was the rainfall event that classifies a 100-year flood. He responded, roughly 7 inches in a 24-hour period. I replied, the 2010 and 2016 floods were from a rainfall event 11 to 12 inches in 12 hours. He replied, that's a 200-year event. After the meeting, I sent emails out to several commissioners and asked who would allow the engineers to design a flood system on a 100-year standard when we are dealing with a 200-year flood event. No one replied, along with the fact that the county staff changed the priorities of the study to focus more on water quality than flooding. I told commissioners the conclusion at that point of that study that these results were invalid in my opinion. So the Houston Engineering report at the last city council meeting is their second attempt on this flooding issue. And guess what? Again, they're designing flood control for a 100-year flood event. I have been told that the 100-year rainfall event is a default setting for calculations. I don't care if it's a default setting. The floods of 2010 and 2016 were a 200-year or more event. Their proposal has a price tag of what? I didn't see the figures you guys got them. I know it's probably over 10 million from that first study, probably 10 to 30 million. And still have a system that cannot protect damages from flooding of the 2010 and 2016. To spend any money on a system that is not designed for the rainfall event that New Richland actually received is the dumbest thing anyone could do. Secondly, when they're talking about their water modeling, and I couldn't see too clear a big picture, but what I could see was I figured their 100-year flood water modeling is incorrect. I was there waist deep and helping to sandbag local businesses in 2010. I can put my foot down on the high water mark of that flood. Their models show a higher water level for a 100-year flood that we had in 2010 for a 200-year event. I can also show them the high water mark in 2016. I've done a lot of work on studies with the university, MDA, and others, and the modeling process is just a computeration. It's not perfected. It can be perfected if you put thousands of points of data into it. But many times the models are just estimations. So don't take those models that you see up there as concrete granite. What I take as concrete evidence is going out there, put your foot on the mark when we had a rainfall. These 2 points then added to the question that Councilman Weimer asked about the land costs, that they were figuring in the northern route, which they figured at $6,000 an acre, shows how inaccurate this study is. When $6,000 an acre, what they calculate for farmland, we know it's more than that. Between the first study, which Houston Engineering was paid $60,000, I'm guessing out of the cost of the round of this study, of what was shared last summer, from what I heard here and at the commissioners, Houston Engineering has been paid over $100,000 for these 2 studies. Studies that still fail to protect New Richland from the 2010 and 2016 floods. The dike that was built on Highway 13 in 2016 held back a 200-year rainfall event. It stopped the water from going over Highway 13, which in turn protected the nursing home and other businesses. That design has been proven to work for a 200-year flood. So why is that not being factored in future designs? The representative from Houston Engineering is completely wrong in his opinion of the bridge and culvert capacity through town. The law of Mother Nature proves him wrong. And the documents I gave to you last time I was here talking about that first study shows that's wrong. My opinion is that Houston Engineering should be fired from this project. They have not shown any ability to design something to handle a rainfall event that we had in 2010 and 2016. Why are we spending 5 years and $100,000 still do not have something designed to handle those 2 events? That's a waste of time and waste of money. They knew about this issue back in 23 at the end of the first study about this 100-year flood event. And I was shocked when they come back this time with another 100-year flood event. So my opinion is they should be fired and find somebody who actually does reality and comes out here and walks the walk and puts his foot down where the high water mark is. You can sit in your office up there in the cities and calculate with computers, but reality is different down here in life. You got to deal with reality in this town, not what the computers say up there. I've spent too much time the last 25 years reviewing university study proposals, legal documents, to know no matter what your degrees are, your job titles, or higher education, mistakes are still made. I have fought with engineers over water issues and deans of colleges over issues and have proven them wrong. You dig long enough and you study long enough, you can find problems. So that's my opinion, and I hope the City Council addresses this 200-year event, because I can't see why you can justify spending the money or asking the Richmond to spend money on something that cannot handle the floods from 2016 and 2010. Thank you. And I got some new members here that weren't here in April 23 when I gave my last report of the first study. I want to give them reports so you know what all the details of the first study I have. Do you want a copy of this, what I just said, or?
I think we're okay. We don't.
I would like to.
You want to copy?
I have a question. So, do you have a company in mind that you trust in or would recommend, or that you've seen?
I don't know many companies. Now, I also serve on the one water and one plan watershed for the sewer watersheds for the district. And we're working with ISG out of Mankato. And I've been very impressed with their work and their staff on developing that program for the One Water. I don't know other engineering firms around. I'd have to do research, but I'm just speaking on what I've experienced working with them and their abilities. Is that One Watershed, we had over 100 meetings time we got done, and they were there at every meeting. a lot of the points were contentious, and when you start looking at models for MPCA and all that, they could really dissect it and get down to common sense. And I really respected their common sense on the way they approach things, and they explained it real thorough. And if we had questions, they answered our question. And if we had things that we didn't like, they changed it. They listened to us. We saw something was wrong in their assumptions, and we could prove it. They did the research, found out, yep, you're right, and they changed it. So that kind of cooperation and collaboration would really impress me. But that's the only firm I've ever been experienced with, so that's all I got.
Thank you. Anybody else want to speak for public comment? Otherwise, we'll move on. Okay. All right, so public hearings, we'll open those up here at 6:41 for ordinance 24-03, ordinance 24-04, ordinance 24-05, ordinance 24-06, and ordinance 24-07. Does anybody want to speak about those ordinances at this time? Then we'll move on and come back.
I've got a question on 2503, if you were asking all of us, just them. I read through the 2403 and I don't see anywhere where it says it's setting rates, but I don't see any rate.
Because that's set by the city fee schedule.
So, we got that?
This is just creating the ordinance. This is not,
Okay,
we're not putting anything in effect until January 1. So
Okay.
the fee schedule doesn't need to
we'll
be
be able to
adopted.
see that before January 1?
You haven't adopted the fee schedule for the ordinance yet.
No, I know.
No, but
We'll-
yes,
we will
yes,
see
yeah.
that.
You have to adopt it, otherwise we can't charge it.
I understand, I
So,
understand.
yes. that'll
This is
come
just
up.
the first step of
That's the
the,
first step before we can start adopting the fee schedule yet.
I just wanted to make sure.
all right,
Let me fast forward to the,
department reports.
yeah, I do not have an emails report for you. There was nothing provided to me.
Okay.
And she's had a pretty busy,
Busy week, I know,
yeah,
couple weeks.
so,
Fire department. Where we're gonna go then?
hang on 1 second. Looked like just one rescue call for the month, and then their training was walking through Cargill and CFS.
All right,
Motion to accept the New Richmond Fire Department report.
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Police department.
We had 99 calls for service in the month of October, totaling 1,880 for the year. It's a pretty basic report. We had a movie night the day after Halloween, which was fairly good, and people said that they would love to see that happen more than just once a year, but that would be a continuing event. All three of us attended a 3-day training in Waseca that was free on drug interdiction, and it was a boatload of information, and would like to thank Officer Grunhagen from Waseca PD for putting that on for multiple, I think there were roughly 30 officers there from all over. We even had officers from the cities come down for that 3-day training. So, very, very good. I think that's pretty
Just have
much it.
your,
Other than that, yeah. You didn't?
yeah, I didn't put it in here, but there's a joint powers agreement for the,
It's basically for our central information system, joint powers agreement through Blue Earth County. They run all of our computer tech, all of our secured network stuff. So it's basically just a
all the
renewal.
squad computers, all the office computers, and I apologize it wasn't in there, but that's the joint powers agreement.
We renew it every year, don't we?
Yep.
I think it's every 3 years or something like that. Yeah, it's just an updated.
Their fee associated?
Yeah,
Yep.
we pay, the consortium, basically, it's Blue Earth County, Waseca County, Faribault County, right? Just those 3 counties?
Martin, I think. a little
Martin
bit, isn't
maybe,
it? Yeah.
and then all the counties involved in that, and then based on the agency
Yep.
size, there's a fee associated with the largest agencies, obviously pay bigger fees, and it's basically,
Smaller.
yeah, smaller agencies pay based on their size.
And that's already in our budget.
Yep,
That we
it's
calculate.
budgeted for every year, and then basically those fees are what goes to replace the servers and things like that as they are needed to be replaced, and the licensing agreements and everything else for. So we will need approval for that.
I'll move to renew the joint powers agreement with the South Central Minnesota Consortium.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Other than that,
Do you know when your next like planned family night type thing is?
we haven't set a night. I'm assuming it'll probably be around, it'll either be like Valentine's-ish
Ish.
or Easter,
Okay.
is my guess.
Was it put on Facebook or anything?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't-
Yep.
Okay. Haven't been on Facebook much lately, but. All
Any
right.
communication from LELS?
Today.
Okay.
I'm gonna have a phone call with them tomorrow or Thursday.
And late
To
year for
begin
them to
the
be doing.
negotiation process.
All right.
Remind me what this.
Union.
Negotiations for,
I guess I just had mine last week though too, so it's getting
Okay.
whatever delayed, but.
Yeah.
I move to approve the police department report.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Denise.
you. Okay. All right, unfinished business, council pay policy.
Councilman Gerke asked me to bring this back up. This is just obviously just to change from a per diem to a salary, so that if you choose at a later time to go to 1 meeting per month or 2 meetings per month or whatever, it's just is paid out as a salary as opposed to per meeting or per diem. So,
I worked out a little bit of a proposal. This isn't a motion, this is a proposal. If we were to go to 1 meeting a month, I would say $100 a month for council members, $125 a month for the mayor. 50 for special meetings, if we were to have some, $50 for council, 75 for the mayor. That would definitely save us some money, because currently we're spending about $17.25 for our 23 meetings, and that's not without any special meetings or anything. And I believe the mayor is up around a little over 2,000 for their salary based on the 23 meetings that we currently have. So just something, it would save on the budget. I think we could get our work done in 1 meeting. Yeah, it'd be a little longer, and I don't think we'd have too many special meetings, but I'm sure situations would arise where we would need to have a second meeting if there was an emergency situation or whatever.
so you're still saying do the per diem?
Yeah, it'd be like a salary. But just based on 1 meeting a month and not 2. If we were to go that route. I just think we could save some money. And Lord knows we need to cut that budget a little bit. So.
Well, one of the thoughts going the other way too is everyone else serving on boards. I know no one here intentionally tries to miss this meeting. I know I haven't missed one yet, and I only have a couple more to go, but just when you're serving on committees and other things, it's like you're only getting paid for attending the meeting, but yet it feels like you're getting skipped out on doing all the other things. Just like I know, just if you happen to miss a meeting, I know how many things you're doing up here, whether it's between groups or signing checks and miscellaneous stuff. It's just a lot of stuff. And again, I didn't run for the money either, but at the same time, getting a little compensation for what you do isn't the worst thing. So that's what I was kind of looking at.
If you choose to change the pay, you will have to do an ordinance and you will have to do public hearing on that. And so that means we need to do
Right.
that
Sooner.
yeah.
I'm just throwing this out here for
Yeah.
food for thought. I'm not-
If you just change to a salary and don't change the payment, then you can handle it with just changing the pay policy. So you need to give me some direction on what you guys would like.
Between that and just doing one meeting too, sometimes, yeah, it's nice our meetings are short, maybe doing two of them, but I don't know how much would actually be compounded in just doing one meeting. And maybe I was eventually looking out for myself, but at the same time, right now work schedule works, but eventually I'd have to start taking half shifts off just to make meetings. That's not gonna be a problem anymore, but if there's anyone else that would get in this position and would have to take off from work, it'd be easier to take off maybe one night versus 2 nights a month.
Yeah.
At half a shift or something, whatever they do.
I get that, but I also feel too, when you sign up to be on and run,
Right.
you kind of know what the
Yep.
schedule already is.
Yeah.
If you can do it with your lifestyle that you have outside of here, as part of it. I mean, at certain times of the year, I feel like we need to have 2 meetings when it's getting closer to budget.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm not
That's
saying
just-
you ever have to go down to 1 meeting a month, but this just gives you the opportunity to do so should you decide to do that.
And we also could go back to
Yeah, and it could be one of those things where, from during the summer months, you could choose to have 1 meeting a month, and then during the fall months, you could have 2, or if you want to do, 1 month most of the time, and then do a quarterly work session or something like that, you can do that as well.
Could we change, based on this, it's saying wanting to go to salary, correct?
Mhm.
Can we change it to also be one meeting a month without having a public meeting? Because we're not changing salary.
You mean like doing one,
One meeting a month.
work session or something
Well,
like that?
if it needs to be a work session, then we could pay it. But that,
Ooh, you just be giving your salary.
right,
I feel
I would
like
like that myself.
sometimes if either you have to have it or you don't, because I feel like it's going to be harder for the public to know, do we have a meeting this Monday?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you guys either need to decide you're gonna have 1 meeting or 2 meetings and then stick with that. But I think there's nothing wrong with if you choose to have 1 meeting and then something comes up, because with the street project, you're gonna obviously probably have to have 2 meetings a month
Right.
through that whole process, until that process works itself out.
I guess if we did do this, it would be like, we still have 2 meetings a month. And then if we decide we don't need one, we'd have to post saying we're not having one. Ahead of-
Do that.
I mean, because otherwise you're going to put a schedule together before the first of the year saying, these are the months we're only going to have one, these are,
Or you just scrap it and we're done with it.
It just was brought up and really never discussed, and then all of a sudden it fell off, so I wanted to make sure.
I would like to see it be one meeting a month. And then if we need work sessions, they're there if we need them. Because I take off time from work for 2 weeks, or
2
2
Mondays.
nights a month for the meetings. So I would like to see 1 meeting a month.
We are able to accomplish what we need to in 1 meeting. There really is, we can be out of here and, you've seen it, we've been out of here in 21 minutes before. We can get done what we need to get done. And there are those meetings we'll have to stay a little longer, obviously, because there's those nights that we'll have to stay a little longer. But, Janesville's double our size and they've gone down to 1 meeting a month and they don't have any problem getting their business done that they need to get done. So,
And if it does go for 2 hours, well, we've committed that night anyway.
right, exactly.
Mhm.
So. But I just need direction if you want to just do this and leave the pay as it is, or if you want to change, if you want to do this and change compensation, then we need to do an ordinance because the pay needs to be done this year and it can't take advantage until after.
I like the
But there's-
idea of adjusting the pay, being that there is no more wouldn't be 2 meetings. But I don't know if that's necessary right now, or if that's something that can be looked at down the road. I do like, even though I won't be on here for long, but I do like the idea of going down to 1 month, or 1 meeting a month.
I'll make a motion, we go to 1 meeting a month and have a salary, like this is saying.
Second.
Okay.
You want to keep the salary the same?
The same as what we're doing now? So 70, is it 75?
So
What-
what I anticipated happening was that what you guys are getting paid for 2 meetings a month would be just absorbed into a salary.
Mhm.
So like your normal, so
2
like
meetings.
your $150 a month as council members would be at your salary for the month. And then the
I was trying to save us some.
No, I understand, but that's the way that I envisioned that this would happen would be, and then there would be no, if there's a special meeting, you just don't get special meeting paid. I mean, if we do 2 meetings and a work session in a month, you guys just don't get any extra pay.
Yeah,
That's
it's just-
that's the salary. I mean, the savings is we're not paying the special meeting fees, we're not paying the special anything special beyond that is, that's the way that I assumed that it was gonna happen when we first started talking about it.
That could be your budget cut there, saving on the special meetings.
True. Although I
Right.
don't think it'd be,
It's not gonna be significant.
Ryan, would you
No.
agree to second it if we amended it to be that way? In one meeting a month?
My ideal situation is 1 meeting salaried, keeping it at current salary, basically combined rate is where I was aiming for. Like I said, if we can't all agree, this can die right here, and it can always be brought up then future-wise for new members.
So the way that I would prefer is if you would adopt this pay policy as presented to take effect as of January 1st. And then there would be a second motion to go to 1 meeting a month with whatever date you choose to go to 1 meeting a month. And I think I would prefer, if you're willing to make the motion, to start that in like February of next year.
I also think it's a good idea because then we'll have 2 new members.
Yeah.
And they should have input on it, I think.
Or you can wait to do,
Can we wait to do
yeah,
that one?
let's, if you want to do that, let's,
I rescind my second.
if you're willing to, if you want to do that way and let them make that conversation, then let's maybe just adopt the pay policy tonight and then we'll maybe let those new members make that conversation.
I think that's good. I'll make the motion to adopt this policy as it stands.
Yeah, I'll second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. General election canvassing board.
All right, you as the city council for the city of New Richland serve as the canvassing board for the New Richland general election.
Mhm.
So. There's a lot of things for you guys to sign tonight.
98 people registered on election day.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, not on election day. That was absentee and
Oh, okay.
Was there a lot of new ones that did just come walk in and register?
Yeah.
I saw a couple.
I mean, I know my kiddo was one of them, but
Anyway, so these are the official election results as presented by the county for us. Congratulations, Matt, Josh. Glad to have you, Janda. The write-ins are listed on the last page here. So basically, we need a motion to approve the election results, and then all of you will need to sign this last page, assuming that I can find it. I might have to go back to my office and print it, because I can't see it.
Okay.
Find that out.
So we need to approve resolution 2424, election
Yes.
results.
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
We'll sign it afterwards.
Yeah.
All right, 2025 People Choice Contract Increase.
yep, so people service, according to their contract, gets an automatic annual contract increase, or our contract automatically goes from $13,706 per month to $14,172 per month. So I need a motion to approve that contract.
That's every year that happens?
Yeah, they get
2 per 4?
I
And how long they got on the contract yet?
think we're done
Shortly, isn't it?
this year. I think it's gonna be our final year of the contract. So I'm already,
Looking,
Are we working on
Yeah.
ideas?
yes.
Okay.
I move to approve the 2025 people service contract increase.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Expensive to take water from, to try to clean it. Ugh. Okay. Budget discussion, general fund budget.
Cool, let's go to enterprise fund
Oh,
first.
enterprise fund budget?
Just ready to go.
Okay.
So this is the water fund and this is with the information from Shannon Sweeney in regards to the 2025 street project, all worked in with the numbers from the street project. And that's including a $100,000 transfer to the sewer budget, sewer fund, because that was a little underfunded. Although I did discover that when Sarah Jo and I initially put in the capital fund charge on the water payment bills for the sewer fund, it was still putting it into the water fund. So that's why we believe the sewer fund is a little underfunded.
Okay.
So that's showing, so the revenue side is about 300,000 is gonna be coming in for revenue and about 312,000 on the expenditure side. So that fund at this moment in time is looking like about a 12.5 loss. But I gotta clean up some numbers on there. Although on the water side of things, that's not terrible because that fund is actually in really good shape. So we might be okay on that. But I will try to clean up some of those numbers.
What is in the water fund, that credit for para?
So 25% of Eric's salary and 25% of Heather's salary come out of the water fund because they are
Billing and,
billing and doing the stuff out of there. So part of the way, I don't exactly understand how Abdo calculates all of that stuff, but part of the credit that we get from the government on the para stuff has to be credited back to the fund in order to pay that all. So that's what that para credit is.
and so we're not figuring a budget for 2025 on that?
For parrots,
Yeah.
that's just, it's whatever
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 after they work.
Abdo tells me to put in there at the end of the year. It's one of
Got it.
those, it's kind of like depreciation expense. It kind of just goes in at the end.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. So the sewer fund, that one we're looking at about a 430,000 revenue because there's a $100,000 operating transfer from the water fund, about 402,000 in expenditures. So we're actually going to have about a $27,000 overage, but we'll need to carry that through
For
for the
next year.
street project. So.
Looks like you got a big bond payment in there, 132,000, is that?
That's for the sewer plant, for the PFA loan on the sewer plant. So that's what that bond is for.
Okay.
And that comes off in 2030.
5%.
2030, yeah.
I don't see that one.
Here at the bottom.
Right at the very bottom.
Under principal.
Principal 132, 181. And then this will be, assuming tonight the storm sewer fund gets active, which I don't see it's not going to. So you'll see in the operating expenses for storm sewer, the 29,129 or 127 county ditch expense that was given to us by the county. Now I'm assuming that we'll be able to pay that over. They told us that we'd be able to pay that over 2 to 5 years, depending on how we chose to do that. I'm just putting that all in the budget now, just because I don't know what we're going to decide to do with that, just so that it's there. And then the 16,317 is going to be the miscellaneous or principal for the street debt for the 25 street project. So, excuse me, 45,444 is our expenses, 3720 is our revenue. So that one's going to be under 14,724. I'm assuming that at least half of that that county ditch money will be either next year or we'll take it into third, so that should be a positive one. I just don't have all that information right now. So this is just your first look at these, just for information at this point.
Because we haven't set rates yet either on what we're gonna be putting
No,
in there.
we haven't
too,
looked at
so.
rates for 2025 yet, so that's just, I just wanted to share that these are
I know.
the first look at these, so I'll have a second look at the next one, and we'll adopt them in full in December's meeting, so. But I just wanted you to see where they were at, sitting at this moment in time, so.
Okay.
And then we'll go to the general fund.
Have we narrowed down the ambulance charges yet? Thing that,
So for the ambulance, I'll just kind of show you what I did here. So I reworked everything with the current, everything in here year to date is with October year to date. So obviously we're still waiting on our second set of money from the county that comes in December, so that won't update till then. But if we go to the revenue side, I did drop down significantly our ambulance revenue. I guess it's only 11,000, I dropped it down, but I did have Mark Griffith do a survey of all the ambulances around us, as far as what they were charging for base rates for BLS service. And I found out that we are charging about $400 less than the average service around us for base rates for ambulance services. So on 100 calls, that's about $40,000 in revenue that we're missing out on potentially. So I'm positive that with increasing our rates to the appropriate level and changing billing companies, that these projections should be correct for 2025.
Did you also ask him that if the rates are that high, how many people are gonna default on those runs at the end of the year and we might have to write them off?
Most of that stuff is all,
Medicare?
yeah,
Insurance.
so it's not gonna be,
on a personal note, my bill recently from Richland to Waseca and then from Waseca to Mankato was $2,800 with North.
Yeah.
Like, really?
yeah,
It's not cheap.
no.
But I had a paramedic on both runs.
So I do,
That's so different.
so I do believe that I'm comfortable leaving that number where it's at as long as we reestablish those rates currently where they need to be according to where services are at around us. And then we find that new billing company, and I'm still waiting on a proposal from them to try to find out if we can switch and where we're gonna be at when we switch. But I think with those two things, that increased revenue on the ambulance side should balance that out and we should be okay.
Was Mark pretty shocked that we're that low? Or not really?
I haven't seen the final results from him, so I don't know where, he said that was the average.
The
So I
average.
haven't even seen the full scope of things. He was gonna have that to me by tomorrow.
Okay.
So, and I think that, some of these revenue things are maybe a little lower. I've tried to be a little conservative on the revenue side on some of this stuff, just to try to,
A little bit of-
right, it's better for us to be a little
Yeah.
more
You gotta have some
conservative
wiggle room.
Yeah.
on the revenue side.
No, going back, that was $400 less on a run than average around here is?
Right.
Yeah.
400, yeah, base rate.
Base rate.
That was before mileage or anything else. That's just the base
Gotcha.
rate.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's not loaded miles or anything. So
On your spreadsheet, the red little triangle
that's
was
just a note.
a note for you?
Yeah, that was certified. I just made sure to
Okay.
tell myself that I made sure that was correct. So, so obviously the tax levy is still set, so we're still I haven't adjusted anything, so that's where we're still sitting, but, that's still with us still putting 98,000 away and 30,000 away for street overlays. And I know we talked about spending down some of that 200,000 from last year. So, I still think we're in a really good spot to, to drop that.
You were saying to 9, right?
If we were to take off, if we're to make this, mean, we're down to 10 right there. If we just take off 50,000 and spend that out of
And
40,000.
revenues could be more, right?
revenues, might be more depending on,
That fudge room.
Mhm. So I think we're still in a good spot. I'd like to see how mid-November comes in yet on some stuff, just to see where we're at for revenues. And I need to find out the final on my property insurance and my workers' comp insurance numbers to just see if I can bump those down just a little bit.
When do they have those in usually to you?
I have the initials in. I'm waiting for my finals from the league.
And I don't remember if you got the information or not about what was the tax rate, like that 10% for other communities around here. Did you get that to us already?
Tax rate for,
Well, like other towns are, what they've done on their budget.
you mean like where everybody else is set?
Yeah. Did you get that for us?
No, you mean just like where Janesville and Waseca?
The preliminary were they set?
Because you did last year, I remember. So we could compare.
Oh, I guess I can find out.
I'd like to see that
Okay.
myself.
I will tell you that the leadership group that I'm a part of, which is like Zumbrota, Pine Island, Orinoco, Dodge Center,
Harmony in there?
Harmony, Lanesboro, they're all in the 11 to 13% is where they're gonna end up.
Because I like to at least have a little bit of ammo when people talk to me, but, and then I also still temper it with, just because other people do it doesn't mean we have to.
Right. Yeah,
But if we're not higher than them, that's okay.
right, yeah. So, but I'll keep whittling at the numbers, because obviously, I mean, I know last year we had an issue with that those electric numbers at the library, which was a bookkeeping error, so that we're getting closer to figuring that out and being able to probably drop $5,000 off that spot. That makes a huge difference, because about every 12 to 13,000 is about 1%.
Yeah.
So, I mean, every time we can whittle that little bit away, that makes a big
So
difference.
12,000?
12 to 15, it just depends. But yeah, it's about 1%.
Well, we got 2 more meetings to whittle. So
Yeah.
we better start whittling.
Oh, I'm whittling.
Okay.
So
Whittles.
I'll whittle more.
Be a Whittier.
So that's where we're at right now. So that's kind of the anticipation at the moment. So
I just find it hard to, without a lot of whittling, you're looking at 10%. Then you're throwing a new street project to people, and
Yeah.
soon we're gonna be throwing a flood mitigation project at them. The money tree only grows so high.
my hope is that with the grant stuff that I'm working on, that at least the potential flood mitigation project should be relatively low cost to the community.
Tony, you know as well as I do, grants are like, the biggest lies in the world. The check's in the mail and I'll still respect you in the morning, that kind of deal.
What do you mean? We're still waiting on the USDA.
Yeah, okay, yeah, all right.
Well, I also like to look at the big picture here though too, that the money we're spending now on stuff that is needed, in the future, if that flood is taken care of, the streets is taken care of down there, we shouldn't have as much of an issue for the people on the south edge of town
Well,
with all that stuff.
I do think the street project will be a significant improvement to that whole south
Yep.
part
Right.
of town. I think it'll be
The I&I and all that stuff.
I think it'll be a
Right.
huge issue. I think it's gonna be for
It's
those.
over.
And even though it hurts the pocketbook for the people in that area, it's in the
Well,
10 years down the road, they'll be happy.
it's not just for them.
It's
For
for
everybody.
everyone.
Well, but still.
But it's gonna hurt them.
Yeah.
You're
They're
right.
taking a sacrifice to
Correct.
pay their part to have it
Remember when
done.
they did Third Street? Same way.
You're still paying for that.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, that's what I got on that one.
All right.
I think those two are done on that. So you can probably go back and ask if anybody else wants to be heard on any of that, and then you can probably close those hearings out.
Okay. All right. So going back to ordinance and resolutions, does anybody want to speak on it before we close it for public comment?
That was the hemp ones too, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. 7:14
Okay.
for closing. all 7 ordinances? Okay,
Yep, so you'll have to do, yeah, you'll have to go through, unfortunately, you're gonna have to go through.
make a motion for each one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so ordinance 24-03. Start with that one. Storm sewer utility.
I'll make a motion to accept that as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ordinance 24-04, which is the regulating the use of cannabis in the city of New Richland.
I'll make a motion to accept that as written too.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ordinance 24-05. Ordinance and amending the C1 downtown commercial district.
Okay, guys.
I'll make a motion to pass the ordinance 2405.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ordinance 24-06 for amending the C3 highway commercial district.
I'll make a motion to accept that ordinance 2406 as written.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ordinance 24-07 for amending the industrial zone to allow for manufacturing and retail sale.
I'll make the motion to adopt it.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 24-23 establishing.
That one, sorry, we missed that. That's fine, we can talk about that one real quick, but, Trinity is just asking that we add a handicap parking spot to the church. And according to section 610 of our ordinances, the council can just adopt a new handicap spot by resolution. So this is to add a handicap spot to the resolution, or to their right in front of the church, and so that's where the spot would be. They're responsible for signage.
And they're only requesting one, not
Just one
two?
spot, yeah.
Don't they use diagonal parking there and not parallel?
No.
I think they do.
They don't use it. Is it
Yeah.
diagonal?
Trinity?
Well, Trinidad's sideways then.
No, is that east and west?
This is parallel.
That would be parallel, yeah.
That's
Don't you guys
yeah.
park diagonal? This-
Well, we
But
do.
the handicap spot, we want.
They want that spot blocked out for handicap.
So you want it parallel for handicap there, but everything else diagonal.
Okay,
So like drive in at Walmart, like the,
right.
You said it's a van person, right?
Yeah.
It's a van person, it's a person
It's
in a
not
van.
straight,
so-
but
North is to the top of this picture?
Yeah.
yeah.
So basically, we would paint the curb and they would sign it, and then the ordinance or the resolution just says it's okay to have it.
Took me the longest time.
I move to adopt resolution
I don't know
24-23.
why.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Resolution 24-24 election.
There, yeah.
Okay, we already did, okay. All right. Miscellaneous,
Just a
2020,
reminder that Thursday from 5 to 7 is the street improvement project open house.
Five?
5 to
5
7,
to
yeah.
7.
I thought you said 5:30.
Yeah, I was wrong.
Sure, it's not
You sent it email.
6:35?
You got it.
Mhm.
I'll be here. No, I should be late.
Okay, administrator report.
General fund and enterprise budgets, still working with, Joe on some form of Houston engineering presentation. I think we've kind of decided that he's gonna do a kind of an overview and then an open house. Kind of like a quick overview and then stick around for an open house so people can ask questions. So I think that's kind of the presentation we've decided on. We're just trying to figure out a date and time that works. I'm thinking probably mid-December. I think that I want to do it before the end of the year so that we don't forget about it. But I'm trying to keep away from Christmas and stuff. I'm trying to figure out how to, so just bear with me trying to figure out a time that works for everybody. Continue to work on street improvement projects with Bolton and Maine. Storm sewer fund, storm sewer ordinance and THC items that we all took care of tonight. Took care of the general election, got insurance stuff all taken care of. Thompson and Waste Management bids came in last week, so I'm getting that stuff all put together for you guys to award at the next meeting. And as you can see, some of our IT equipment came in for the large meeting room. Employee recognition, Jennifer Lacey has been with us for 2 years. That's all I have for administrative report.
Move to accept administrator's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody have comments?
Yeah, since we have some new members coming on, can we get some new name tags that say council member instead of council person? Or council man? Or trustee? Anything but council person, please. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, come on.
You want to spend your money on that?
Yeah, I'll spend my money, but mine says council member. I'll spend my own money for it. How much are they?
I agree, Julie.
Yeah, this is, we want to,
Councilman would be fine.
or councilwoman in her case, I mean,
I'm leaving.
then council
I'll
member
take
would be
my-
more
my
generic
council
than council
person tag
person.
with me.
God, it just bugs the heck out of me. Yeah. You know me, I've never been politically correct, but I think council member still would be correct. And not offend anyone. Doesn't offend me. I'm easily offended. That's all I got. Thanks.
Anyone else?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I hear you, Joe.